You mentioned the Patriots. Took care of business once again. Looked good doing it, beating Tennessee 36-13. However, nitpicking here a little bit with a team that's on this kind of roll.
Yeah.
They gave up 270 yards rushing. Like, I had to do a double take. Did they really give up 270? What the hell happened?
Well, it's Tennessee's good.
Yeah.
They're good.
Even without Derrick Henry,
yes,
they know
they're
how to run
well
the ball.
coached. They know they don't waste plays. They know the proper things to do against certain defenses or schemes. You know, again, Tennessee's not going anywhere, everybody. They're not going to go. They're not going to fall apart here. I know they lost to the Texans and they lost to the Titans, and it didn't look good. I mean, but I will be shocked that if they're like just totally falls apart on them. They might lose a game or two more. I understand that, but I still think they're a force of nature here. Their O-line is too good. Their D-line is too good. They're going to get the receivers back. And Vrabel's just too good of a fucking coach, along with Shane Bowen on the defensive side. And Todd Downing has proved to me that he's a pretty damn good offensive coach, too. They have answers for things. So, you know, here's my big sum of Tennessee, their offense having some success against New England.
Okay.
And this is why Vrabel's 2-1 against New England. He was 2-0 going in this matchup. He knows what Belichick doesn't like to see in certain formations. That would be the first thing.
What's he?
You know,
which is what?
Just like there's. I'll show you here in a minute.
Okay.
Just certain things that he knows from working there or playing there that he knows. Like, oh, Bill always used to say, if a team got in this formation and we played this defense, man, we got to watch out for this because I don't like this.
Yeah.
You know, that's how things are orchestrated in New England. I mean, that's how their offense is the New England offense is orchestrated off of Belichick telling McDaniels and Charlie Weiss, when I see this, I don't want to have to defend this.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally how it started. That's why he's the genius and the greatest coach ever. They used some New England plays to beat New England, and then also he knows the guy on the other side. He self-scouted thyself a little bit to know, like, oh, all right, in these situations, we always do this. I got to zig when he thinks we're going to zag. If you think you're just going to line up and beat New England with what you've been doing and just go, here it is, this is what we do, you're crazy. You got to do some things where you go, this is what we do 99 out of 100 times, but today you're getting the one you play here. And that's what you got to do. Exactly right. And that's where Vrabel understands it with them.
Second most rushing yards allowed under Belichick. I want to put an asterisk next to any time a team gets blown out, but they put up big numbers. It doesn't really matter.
No.
I mean, right? I mean,
no.
They lost by 23 points. So
lost
they
by
could have rushed
23.
for 350 after the fact in the second half when it didn't matter. And sometimes these stats are a little hollow.
They were. But I will say, I don't think these are that hollow of stats. I think this is a game where the score is misleading. The stats in the game, like, I didn't look at the game and go, New England just overwhelmed them. They were just better. They physically dominated them. That's not the case here. I'd go, Tannehill missed a wide-open touchdown pass, and they missed a field goal. You know, they got a long run. The guy breaks it. Fumbles. They're on the 1 yard line. They throw an interception, right? There was plenty of points in this game where it was like, oh, this game's about to be dead even, and we're going to go in the fourth quarter, and this is going to be fun to watch. It's just the Patriots made a few plays, and the Titans kind of messed it up a little bit. But I think if they play again in the playoffs, I would be shocked if this isn't like a 3-point type of football game.
Tight kind of game.
But your point is still right. There's a lot of games that we look at where we go, those stats are bullshit. That doesn't make sense.
A lot of times, but it sounds like there's some, maybe this wasn't.
There's
that
some
kind
merit
of
to this one.
We talk about self-scouting myself a lot. It felt like Tennessee did that because they weren't running the ball 3rd and 3, 3rd and long kind of situations most of the season. They ran it a lot in those kind of situations on Sunday. Let's check it out. Late second quarter, 16-6 Pats. It's 3rd down and 3.
I think they led the league, or they were least in the league to run the ball in 3rd and 3 more.
Oh, it was that high
all year.
Wow.
Right. So, again, this is where you self-scout thyself because then he's probably looking at it and going, Bill's going to know this. They're the greatest breakdown coaches in the history of football. They're going to play pass defense. Now, New England's also one of the kings, in my opinion, of, like, if it's 3rd and 3, they'll run the football and gash you that way if they feel like you're playing too much pass defense. But I think that's, again, this is the point. This is not like an overwhelming, oh my gosh, unbelievable play schematically that I'm about to show you here. It's just It's again just knowing what you're going to get. It's 3 down linemen. It's a bunch of linebackers and secondary players. It's lineman, Matt Judon. It's safety, Kyle Van Noy, Hightower, nickelback, corner, safety, corner, right? They want to stop some sort of short pass. And really what they're doing here is they're playing man, and he's playing man, and he's playing man on him, he's playing man on him, he's free, and I just want to make sure I get this right. I think Hightower and Van Noy, I got a million plays in my head, sorry if I'm not exactly right, are going to drop out because they want to stop, just in case they run something like this, or he comes off and comes through this way. We got guys inside that we're not going to ask our corner to stop here and then chase across the field and try to stop a shallow cross route. That's impossible.
Right.
They're New England. They don't expect any human on earth to be able to stop that. They're going to have some sort of we got to help the guy out a little bit. He's not Superman. Yeah. He can't just cover 4-3 receivers all over the field all day long, right? So here we go. You can kind of see. New England, it's a 3-man rush, and they're playing pass all the way. It's really just 1, 2, 3. He's here just to kind of eat up the blocker a little bit, and he's going to help out and get out. He had the tight end man-to-man. There's Van Noy. I don't know, maybe Hightower is actually there. He might just be clogging up a lane to not let Tannehill run or anything like that. But you could see he's not really rushing the passer, right? 3-man rush, draw up the middle, block perfectly.
Got him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Defensive lineman off the field, a bunch of linebackers and secondary guys. See you later.
Yeah.
Again,
perfect play call.
A perfect play call. That's all I'm getting to. And again, that's something to me where it's that's something New England usually does to other teams.
Yeah.
Even New England's first touchdown, they threw a little screen. Tennessee's first touchdown of the game, they threw a screen pass out to a little bunch receiver set. It's the same play that Edelman caught to win the Super Bowl against the Falcons. Again, it's plays that he knew, you play this defense, you don't like to defend this. This is why you do it to everybody else.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it to you. And they get a touchdown.
He must hate playing against Rabel then.
Well, I think it's part of the reason why he's never had great success against any of his proteges, right? Even up in Detroit, Matt Patricia beat him.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on some others that have had his number because
I think Mangini beat him.
Mangini had some issues.
Yeah.
He did. Yes, we're missing O'Brien gave him some issues in Houston. Because they know some of the things he likes. Exactly right. That's exactly right.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
That's one successful play. And you were right. I'm reading it here. Thank you, Pete, for this good note. Entering the game, Tennessee ran it on third down and 10 yards to go, just 4 times.
Anything at 3rd and 3 and more, right?
In between 3rd and 3, yeah, exactly.
And there's the graphic for everybody to see.
There we go.
So 4 rush attempts the whole year to that point.
Man, and then they did it 4 times.
4 times in this game
Sunday.
For 90 yards and a first down on 3 of the 4.
Right.
So that just, again, when you're playing New England, if you're not zigging when you're supposed to zag, you're going to zag yourself to a loss. I can tell you that.
Early third quarter, Tennessee down 19-13, 2nd and 4. Almost a very positive play here for Tennessee.
Cool.
Almost.
It really is. This is to the point of what I was trying to say with the stats. It's 19-13, and they're going to break a big run here, and you're going to go, damn, they're in a field goal position.
Yeah.
Here we go. This game's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. But again, this is Vrabel and company knowing how to block a 3-4 front. You got one. Let me just clear that. You got 1, 2, 3. You got your outside linebacker in Van Noy. There's Judon, Hightower, Jawan Bentley, who I think is the best thumping middle linebacker in football right now. All right? And a lot of teams don't know how to run the ball against the 3-4. It's hard because they're asking these 3 down linemen to 2-gap, and they're monsters. So they hold people up, and they have the gap on either side of them. And then the linebackers react off of it. So it's not easy always to run the ball on New England or these type of defenses. That's why the Ravens and the Steelers all these years are amazing at stopping the run for the most part. All right? Now, the thing that's key to this play, one is Ben Jones is a really good center, and he reach blocks and stops. I think this is Godshaw, but I'm not really sure. He stops the nose tackle from getting to this gap on his left, the A gap to his left. He doesn't let that happen. All right, so that's where it first starts. The second thing they do is they're basically running outside zone, but watch how the guard kind of almost pulls a little bit to do that. And The reason he does that is to widen the gap of that A gap I just talked about, where the center, you can see he's got him reached here, right? You know, here's Guy who's trying to two-gap either side, right? Now, here's Saffold, who, it's like, you see what I'm talking about a little bit as far as how he kind of came off the ball here? Just want to show this again. Like, look how he comes off the ball, Saffold, right here, all right? You know, it's very a different approach for an outside, sorry, damn it, I messed up. Outside zone look, but the brilliance of it is, all right, is the fact that now Guy, who's trying to read it and play either side, he's got a guy that's hitting him, and Hightower's taught to now just blow up the gap, all right? Blow it up. Run in, you see the gap, you're a big body, blow it up. That'll give the guy nowhere to run, all right? But the key is, because Saffold does this little aggressive move to his left, he makes, and it's hard to see from this angle, he makes the A gap here, and you'll see in a second, it's 8 yards wide. Oh. So even though he does his job and clogs the gap, he's not the size of a Mack truck. Right. He can't clog the whole gap, and because of that, they get exposed. You know, let me see if I can pause it to the right. Like, it's really hard to tell from this angle. I showed Pete on film, and he was like, oh my gosh, yes, the gap is huge. So if you could really see between center and left guard here, Hightower hits him. He tries to stick out his left hand to stop the guy, okay? But the gap's so big, he just gets a hand on him, and he's gone.
If that was intentional, like you're pointing out, that's some high-level nuance. It's very well done.
I would be shocked if it wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
I would be shocked. I don't think you're going to see an outside zone play all year unless they play a 3-4 team that looks like that again. But I know, I wish we had an end zone cut to show you, but this gap's so huge that they, even though like schematically are in their gaps, that A gap is 8 yards wide, and that allows him to run through it. And then you got J.C. Jackson, who's, I don't know, maybe the best corner in football right now.
Right.
He loves to run people down, hawk them down, and cause some issues.
Hell of a play. It'll be fun to watch the Patriots take on the
Bills. They did a flea flicker in the game.
Yeah.
Right? Well, I mean, who does flea flickers? New England's the king of flea flickers, trick plays. They did that to get down there one time. You know, they used a lot of New England-y stuff against New England. And, yeah, I don't think Tennessee's going anywhere. I know they're not perfect yet.
Yeah.
But if you can move that front and get some yards running against that front, then you're going to be able to move the ball against just about anybody.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.